Welcome to episode 3 of Riff and Chips. I'm your host Phil Vernon, and today our guest is Harry Nott, vocalist of the incredible Burner. Right from the ferocious intent of their blistering first EP, A Vision of the End, Burner showed the scene that they weren't here to fuck about. Last year, they followed up with the debut full-length It All Returns to Nothing, and dropped jaws all over the country with a punishingly intense slab of crossover death metal that deservedly appeared on a whole host of best of year lists. This year, Burner take the step up from smaller rooms to bigger stages, and with global superstars like Trivium's Matt Heafy championing them recently, who knows where they might end up. Join us as we discuss the legendary lead spot Joe's Well, the power of sharing bands on social media, and fist-sized spicy potatoes. So, Harry, welcome to Riff and Chips.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, we've only actually met once face-to-face, but weirdly it feels like I've kind of known you forever from chatting on social media and stuff. So how have things been recently?
Yeah, it's been good, man. Yeah, burner camp. Personal life first. I guess, everything's been A-okay. Just like settling into the new year, new goals, fitness goals, lifestyle goals, changing it up. I really do feel like a new person, which is good. And kind of seconding that, burner. Stuff's been good. We've been like finally taking the kind of step up that we've wanted to take since we started out, and we're getting a lot more opportunities. Bigger stuff's coming our way, and some stuff I can't even talk about right now. But yeah, genuinely, really, really exciting stuff. It's a good year so far. Speaking in March, we'll see where we are in April.
Yeah. No, I've been so excited seeing the things that you've been announcing over the past couple of weeks. Like, obviously, it's no secret. Like, I love you guys. I've championed you from as early as I heard you. So seeing you kind of get what I feel like you deserve. Saying "get what you deserve" sounds a bit aggressive sometimes, depending on the tone, doesn't it? But
well, yeah, it feels like Joker, you're about to shoot me in the face.
Yeah,
right?
But I mean, obviously in a positive way. Like you deserve to be getting what you're starting to reap, which is great to see.
I appreciate that.
So we normally like to start by talking about people's kind of early experiences, especially in regards to the UK metal scene. A lot of people get into music the same way, watching Kerrang, hearing the bigger American bands, be it punk bands or new metal bands or whatever. But specifically, what brought you into metal first? And then from that, what kind of got you more kind of into the UK metal scene?
Man, we really are like going into the past. This is a portal of time machine right here. I guess like going all the way back, it's going to be a similar story to like everyone. I was born in 1995, so I probably got into metal like mid to late 2000s. So it's going to be bands like Slipknot, Killswitch Engage. I remember the first time I ever heard Killswitch Engage, and it was on the Guitar Hero Free soundtrack.
Okay, yeah.
Just like those kinds of experiences, just here and there. But I remember the moment I took my first step into extreme metal, so death metal, black metal, doom or thrash or whatever, and it was listening to. Actually, it was probably seeing the YouTube edit for "Job for a Cowboy's Knee Deep" with SpongeBob.
Yeah,
right?
Of course, yeah.
We all know this thing exists,
100%,
right?
yeah.
And I remember seeing it, and I was like, man, this is crazy. What the fuck is this? And then I bought a copy of Doom. And from there on out, I mean, my God, I just fell down a rabbit hole. And I was like really young, like crazy young. And I didn't know what the fuck I was listening to, but I was like, this is cool. This is really, really cool. And from there, I just kind of fell in love with it. Kind of, especially with death metal. Though I would just, again, I'd listen to like so much of it. Like Cannibal Corpse when I was like really young, and I mean, I shouldn't really been listening to it when I was so young, I guess, maybe. Gallery of Suicide and stuff like that. But I turned out all right and came with a decent band in the end. So, I mean, it all worked out. Hardcore later on. When I was a teenager, hardcore, I got it. I started going to shows in Leeds. That's where I grew up. Leeds is where I'm from West Yorkshire originally. I live in London now, but Leeds was where I would go to shows all the time. And I remember I used to go to this place called The Well, also known as Joseph's Well.
Yeah, I played that venue many a time over the years. I loved it.
I love that place. It's been closed for years now, but it will live forever in my heart and my soul.
It's a shame because it's still just sat empty, right? Isn't it? No one's done anything with it from what I can gather from chatting to people that live around that way. Like nothing's been done with it yet.
That's my understanding, which is a real shame because it has this incredible emotional resonance. That's one thing that like music has that I think so many other things don't have, which is just this like remarkable ability to like create these spaces that have this bizarre emotional resonance that exists for everyone. It's crazy.
Weirdly, two things that always stick in my mind about that venue. Obviously, I went to countless shows there. I used to be based in Manchester, so I was constantly between the two for shows. But two things I always remember about the Well. One, I remember seeing. Do you remember the Australian hardcore band Miles Away?
Yes.
I went to see Miles Away in there, and they were supported by a band called, I think they were called Blackout, which was, I think, three quarters of the members of Miles Away. Probably a cheap tour to do if you're in the same
Nice.
members of the bands, I guess. But during the Blackout set, or Blackout, should I say, set, someone got like electrocuted or something really bad happened to like one of the
Whoa!
guitarists. So it was weird because it wasn't in the main room down the bottom either. It was in the front bar at like a little raised up
Okay.
seating bit at the back,
Yeah.
so which was quite weird. And I don't know if they moved it there because they were having electrical problems. I don't know. But yeah, that always sticks with me. And the other thing is, it was on the wall for quite a while on the side of the stage there, but they had a Neil Buchanan drawing, the guy from Art Attack.
Sick.
He came because anyone that doesn't know, Neil Buchanan plays guitar in like a Nwabum band called Marseille. Do you know this, Harry?
I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Holy
you check.
shit.
Yeah. So, and I think they, in like the kind of like late 2000s, had a bit of a resurgence and went out and did some shows. And they obviously played the Well, and they got him to draw like a big Art Attack on the wall of the stage. So yeah.
That's so sick. Hey, that just more evidence of how unbelievably endearing the legacy of the Well, Joseph's Well in Leeds, incredible. I remember I went to so many great shows there. I got crowd killed for the first time at that show during Heavy Hands set. Hell in the Well, uh, amazing Glasgow hardcore band. And I remember being clocked by an absolute stranger in the dark during their intro. And from that moment on, I realized, wow, hardcore is strange, and I do not understand it, but I am absolutely fascinated with it. And that fascination and love has just remained to this day. So yeah, I guess it would be like bands and experiences like that going, yeah, just like the Leeds hardcore scene, growing up through that, going to metal shows at the Cockpit, going to Wharf Chambers, whatever. Like just having cool experiences in and around that time and in Wakefield. Awful town, I hate it. But yeah, Leeds has my heart. That's my home. That's where I'm from. And yeah, and that's really the start of my musical story, I guess. Shout out to Leeds Hardcore forever. Big up Ego. Amazing band.
It was
Also Scorned. Rip Scorned, okay?
it was a great time around then. Like I say, late kind of 2000s. I was at Leeds a lot for probably a lot of the same shows that you were, albeit 10 years older, probably stood at the back. But yeah, it's like you say, Wharf Chambers. There was a venue back in the day called, I think it was called something like the Nation of Shopkeepers. Did you ever see a show there?
Yes. No, Nation of Shopkeepers. That I don't know if that still exists, but I remember I went to a show there as well. Also forgot to say the Pack Horse. That place
Yes.
is also terrifying.
There used to be the Fenton as well.
The Fenton as well. Yep, played the Fenton too.
And up by the Fenton was the Scream pub at the top. Was it the library? Upstairs in the library, they used to put on shows.
Yeah. I saw. We could talk about this forever, but I remember at the Fenton, I saw it was a bill my old band played, but I saw two bands do the same Shattered Realm cover in the same night in successive sets, and the only difference was it was obviously all will suffer, all shall suffer. But the only difference was they held the fucking pause before the beatdown for like an extra 5-10 seconds.
Amazing. I'm pretty sure I saw someone do a Shattered Realm cover at a Shattered Realm show once at the Star and Garter in Manchester.
That's so ballsy.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure something stuck in my head that I was at a Shattered Realm show at the Star and Garter, and I'm pretty sure one of the opening bands did a Shattered Realm cover, which, like you say, I mean, fair fucks. Like, if you're going to do it, then go all in, I guess.
Yeah, honestly. So many scary and amazing nights in those venues. Boom, obviously I saw it and I played it in the old configuration where the whole room was facing sideways onto the long side of the wall. Super weird and obviously makes no sense compared to how it is now, which makes far more sense. Also, I got to see Weekend Nachos play Boom for the last time. Don't know if they'll play any more UK shows, but I got to see them play their last show in the UK, which was incredible. Best night, easily, maybe not the best night of my life, but easily one of the best nights of my life. It was fucking biblical. They gave me the mic for Snowball Fight and I killed it. Shout out to fucking Weekend Nachos, okay?
Yeah, they were an intense band. Like I said, I've not seen their name around for a while, but yeah, Leeds was a great scene back in the day. It's definitely takes me back talking about it as well.
Amen.
Outside of your we've talked about your kind of entrance into the scene. I think one great thing at the moment with the UK metal scene is that bands seem to be constantly bigging each other up on social media. You log in any day and there's a band saying, check out this band, this band's sick. And I think, it's great to see. So how much of an impact do you think that the kind of friendliness and encouragement from peers and, other people in other bands in the scene has on the health of the scene in general?
I mean, the answer is only, I mean, it feels like you're begging the question in terms of like what I'm going to say, but yeah, it's a big, it's really cool, it only really has a positive outcome, especially for us. Just to give like an anecdote that might explain it. When we did our first ever tour, it was the first tour. It was Employed to Serve asking us to play with them as support for their run before they went on the big stadium tour with Gojira. And that was, for them, it was just a bit of a warm up. But for us, it was like do or die, because we had played 2 shows in 2022. And then all of a sudden, this tour comes along in May, I believe. And the first show was our 3rd ever show. It was like, and there were 11 dates, and it was like do or die. Just, we have to do it. We have to do it. We have to see it through. We have to have this experience. And it was going to happen anyway. But the fact that it happened so early on, it was like a true baptism of fire. And we played Hull, and Mastiff were there. And we knew Mastiff. The night that we got the news that Churchyard wanted to work with us, we saw Mastiff. Really fucking amazing band. And I love those guys to death. They're all wonderful individuals. But at this stage, we didn't know them. We saw Jim, their vocalist, walking around, intimidating, stocky guy, terrifying as fuck. Yeah. Loveliest human being. One of the most loveliest human beings I know on this earth. But truly a reversal of expectations. You do not expect that level of accommodation when you see him. And I think it was this moment where they were just watching our set, because they played first, and then they were watching our set, which felt like a right piss take that we were on second and they were on first. Total, like, what's the deal with that? But we played the set and they watched us, and something kind of, I remember watching Jim. I'll bring up Jim specifically, and I'm gonna apologize to him mid podcast for this. He was watching me, and he just had his arms folded. He was like leaning on a part of the bar, and he's just watching me. And like 2/3 of the way through the set, we get to play in Siege Fire, and we kick it into that fucking 2-step riff. And all of a sudden, that austere, kind of not solemn, but kind of very stoic expression breaks, and he just starts like nodding his head. And I was like, I did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. We fucking climbed the mountain. I've been to the mountaintop, and Jim from Mastiff is smiling at me, and I'm like, this is a golden moment. And after the set, he went up and just shook my hand and said, "That were well good." And I said, "I'm from Punty," because obviously I'm like this Yorkshireman, in home turf, and we're a band from London. And he just leans back into me and says, "I can't hear you," because it was really loud. But then it's like relationships like that like create these really lasting bonds. Part of just being in a band is networking. And I don't want to, like, when you say networking, it makes everything sound like it's a very clinical, transactional thing. Yeah. I'm friends with you because you give me what I want or whatever. But the other side of it is you create genuine relationships with people. You want to be a band that talks to other people. You want to have relationships with people. Not just because of how you can collaborate, but also because they're just genuinely wonderful people. But when I think about it, it's like, Mastiff liked our set. We love Mastiff. And where are we now? 2 years down the line, I'm featured on their album, and we're like the best of friends, and they played our release show, and we love them. And it's like, when you can have genuine relationships with people in bands who are just as passionate as you, and then obviously sharing those relationships online, bigging up other bands, that's what it's all about. That's really what it's all about. Point being, bands bigging up other bands. There's nothing like it. Especially when, bands at different levels bigging up other bands. That's important. If you're in a band and you'd like another band, and maybe you're at a higher level, just fucking share that you're listening to that band, because it's important. Yeah. It leads other people to discover that band, and other people get to have new relationships with that music. That's what it's all about. It's about fostering it and sharing the music that you like. Shout out to Bind from Norwich. Shout out to Born in Dissonance from the Southwest. 2 bands in particular just came to my brain.
Yeah, perfect. No, I totally agree. And like I say, I think the way I asked the question was potentially a little bit leading.
A little bit.
I think it's just because I get excited about what the scene is like at the moment. It's one of the things that drove me to start this podcast. Not just the ridiculous encouragement from coming up with this stupid idea on Twitter and having everyone, people within the scene, the guys from Mastiff, yourself, the CEO of the UK Underground, Smittens from Caligram,
Yes.
all these guys jumping on board, being like,
Yeah.
you guys should absolutely, you should do this. And next thing you
can
know,
I just quickly say that this podcast was born out of Phil being fucking gassed up on Twitter. Everyone just being like, yeah, do it, man, do it. Yeah, this sounds fucking crazy. So, I mean, if anything, there's your evidence. It's a good idea. We should all be fucking promoting each other, because then we end up with new creative outputs. This is how you generate new content.
Yeah,
God damn, it's incredible.
And luckily, at least a lot of those guys have backed it up, and anyone that said they was excited has agreed to come on. So we've got a good list of guests straight away off the back of that. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I've been around in scenes where there's not been as much of that, and there's been, I'm not going to say like bitching or infighting, but just kind of feeling like propping up other bands might like be a detriment to your band, or well, if I say this band are good, they might get more popular than me, and whether it's a jealousy thing. But you see it, and everything suffers from it. Shows are dead. Like, you don't get a buzz around bands and shows enough, because what creates more than a buzz than when you're flicking through Instagram stories or something, and say a record comes out, let's just say the day your record came out last year, you're flicking through, and obviously you follow a bunch of other bands, bunch of people in the scene, bunch of friends that you've made, maybe who aren't even in bands, but people have friends, within their scene. You meet people because you have similar interests. And you're flicking through, and 8 out of 10 stories are people like, this fucking record's come out today, like, everyone needs to check out this record, this is so sick. I mean, obviously it's great for you to see if it's your band, you're buzzing off it. I remember me posting on the Church Road Discord something about your ring, and you getting really, really excited about what I'd said, and we're like, oh, I think I compared you, saying your record was last year's what Ithacus was the year before or something. You were like, oh, that's
crazy.
I think I said that, yeah, and you reacted to it. You like, that's an absolutely ridiculous thing to say, but I really appreciate it and thank you. And I mean, I think I've proved myself right. You've taken that step up. I'm not going to be the only person that thinks it, but
I appreciate that. I think the point is, like, it's kind of, we sometimes forget that, like, there's no need to think that the music that we create, the stuff that we share in like this online ecosystem, like, it's not a zero-sum game. Like, it really isn't, because the view of things gets so much more nuanced and also sophisticated from here, because that's just the outside world, right? That's just how we as bands express ourselves to other people. And I think in that sense, like, what we're doing is so pure and can be genuine, and it can be just like something that it doesn't have to be predicated on, I'm doing this because, for instance, I'm trying to network with X band because I want to get on a tour or whatever. Because the other side of it, the industry side of it, it's like, there are agents, there are promoters, there's so many more conditions to all of this stuff that you do. But if you like a band and you just want to share that this band's fucking sick, or you think this record's cool, you can just do that. And there's no conditions to that. You can just do it. It doesn't matter. And that's awesome. That's the freedom. That's genuinely like one of the most freeing things you can do as an artist, right? Or as an individual. Just say, I like this thing, and you should check it out.
It takes no time, it costs no money, especially with things like social media and how easy it is. It takes 10 seconds of your time to click share, and you might think, oh, well, it's just me, like, I'm not really, but it's a butterfly effect, isn't it? Like, I could be a person that has 15 followers on Twitter, pretty inactive on social media. Say I only have like 30 people that follow me on Instagram. You think, well, what good is me posting about it going to do? All you need is 1 or 2 people. And then if 1 or 2 people there's like it, the next thing you know, that band's got 100 new fans within the space of a couple of weeks.
This is so true, genuinely. And also, some of the most long-lasting, meaningful relationships that you'll create as an artist with people who like your band and want to listen to your music can be just people recommending it. It's like, if you share it and some guy listens to it, and maybe they share it to their friend and say, hey, I listened to this record because they saw it get shared by a band they like, check it out. There you go. You made a new fan, and then they can come to your show and you can have an even greater relationship with them. So it's just, point being, at every single level, from band to artist, from fan to fan, from label to artist, there's only benefits in just sharing and promoting other people's work. As I say, I think anyone who would argue that it's a zero-sum game is a fool, because it just isn't. There's so much space for all of us, and a rising tide truly does lift all boats. I do believe that.
Yeah, 100%. So, Harry, we've covered a bit of music chat. Now it's time to get down to why we're really here. People, obviously, we are filming this podcast, but we're not putting the video out there. It's just an audio podcast. But
you can't see me grinning. Yeah.
A big beaming smile from his face. But Harry, it's time to get your coat on. We're heading down to the local for a section that we like to call... So yeah, this is the section, the important section of the podcast, Chippy Chat. This is where it all came from. All that music stuff. It's interesting. It's great to chat about, but you can hear that anywhere. This is our selling point. This is our unique feature. So we always start things off by asking, what local chippy are you taking me to?
I just want to quickly take you down memory lane first.
Okay.
And then we'll get to my local chippy. So like I'm a vegetarian now, and I've been vegetarian since 2019. And I'll say the one thing real quick. I'm gonna clarify this. The only thing that I really genuinely miss is fish and chips specifically. It's the only thing that I fucking miss. Okay, you give me a battered fish, goddamn dude, I would be tempted. I can't lie. For all my ethical and moral obligations, I would be like, oh man, you're ruining me. Yeah. But so I wanted to just quickly highlight two fish shops from back home that I love.
Oh no, please do.
Bell Lane in Ackworth, which we lovingly called in my home Bell End.
Okay, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's an easy link to make, yeah.
Natural fit. The fish was not cheesy though, so it's all good. Also nearby, Lane's Fish and Chips in Bag Hill, which is outside Pontefract, which was near to where my mum like worked as a teenager and stuff. I think she worked in the fish shop at some point, so there's a lot of a lineage and heritage there, I'm sure. But down here in Bromley in South London, there's a fish and chip shop. Again, I don't go to many fish and chip shops now because, first of all, down here, there's not a huge amount, unless you're in Central, there's not a huge amount of like vegan or vegetarian oriented fish and chip shops, as you'd understand. But I will go for a good old bag of chips. So there's one called The Place to Be, with place spelled as the fish, Plaice.
Of course. It's a classic fish shop pun, isn't it, really? Using the word place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's the place. It's all right. It's okay. Nothing special. It's opposite the train station. Super easy to get to.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah, easy indulgences.
Convenience is good. I mean, the good thing about this is, in the same way, like a kind of popular alternative podcast, this is kind of almost like someone's dream fish and chips. So if you want to go back to, one of your ones back north, it can be that one. Yeah, we like to promote local chippies. It's good to talk. But if you want to say specifically, I would like to go and to that chippy, it could be any chippy anywhere, really.
That's very nice of you, and future guests will thank you. But I will stay rooted in the reality that I am in because it's the right thing. For me, it's the right thing to do because I do have. There are some nice things about this place, and I will say we will get to them. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So obviously we're getting chips. I mean, that's a given. So you get a portion of chips. So what size portion are we ordering?
It's funny because I have recently made changes to my diet, but let's just pretend I'm not doing that. Large, please.
The more the merrier. The more the merrier.
Let's go.
And is your chip? What did you say their fish shop was called again?
The Place to Be.
How did I forget? The Place to Be.
No problem.
So is the Place to Be? Is it a wrapped in paper chippy or is it a cardboard box chippy?
Well, I mean, obviously, when you're taking it away, it's box, and then they'll give you the wrapping. So I guess it's a box place. Box comes first, right? Yeah.
You seem to see boxes a lot more nowadays than you do. Whether it's easier for portion control, you can only get so much in a box, I guess.
It ain't. Yeah, I mean, true. It ain't good for my portion control because I'll
get two boxes.
I'll eat the whole thing. Yeah. I'll eat the fucking box. I'm a monster.
So we're getting a large portion of chips
with extra box.
With extra box. You having salt and vinegar?
Yeah, I feel like absolutely. Because I feel like if you don't have salt and vinegar, you're a coward. You hide from life.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the joys of chips, isn't it? I mean, potatoes are great on their own, but they can also be easily enhanced by simple ingredients.
Yeah. Are
you just the kind of, if they say, salt and vinegar, are you just a yes, please, or do you specify anything?
No, I'm just like, just throw it on there. Yeah. Like, I'm not particular.
You trust the server's judgment?
I trust their judgment. If I want to adjust, I will take it home and I'll make those adjustments as per necessary. But, whatever boss man wants, easy going.
Yeah, that's good. And
I accept my fate, okay?
Obviously, you've talked about how you're a vegetarian now and your former love for fish. In lieu of that, what's your main accompaniment to chips nowadays?
So, I mean, I would get chips, and usually I would get, this is going to sound weird. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about. So, like, I do like mushy peas quite a lot. I really like mushy peas. Also, I should have given a shout out to the Weatherby Whaler in Whitby. It's like a little chain in the north. They do these enormous fish. It's like gigantic. It's like, holy shit, this is like a piece of a dolphin and or whale because it is monstrously huge. Also miss that. But I would usually get, with a side of chips, I usually get mushy peas. And here's the thing. I don't eat the peas at the same time. I save them until after. And then I put some salt in them and I mix it together. And that shit is like a nice, savory after chip treat. That's really good.
Yeah, like a
Really, really
palate
like that.
cleanser.
Absolutely. It's just,
Yeah.
and it's slightly salty and it's just got a nice consistency. And yeah, it's really, really enjoyable. It gets like a little, yeah. I will sometimes as well have curry sauce if I please. Though the northerner in me exhorts me to get gravy, but I can't acquire that. I can't acquire that here. In fairness, and I'm going to be a bit contentious right now. As I said, I've been a vegetarian since 2019, and I was a purveyor, a true enjoyer of fish,
Mm-hmm.
battered fish. But since I moved down to the south in 2014, I find that all of the fish and chip shops here are vastly, vastly inferior to the ones in the north. That's my main contention. I just
know.
don't
I mean,
think they're good.
I'm with you. I mean,
Specifically on the fish issue, I don't care about anything else.
I don't want to so early on in the tenure of host of this new podcast.
Right at the start.
But I'm just going to say myself, there's something about Northern chippies, specifically Lancashire, Yorkshire chippies.
Let's go.
Half of my family are from South Yorkshire. They were born and bred kind of around kind of Sheffield, South Yorkshire, and also Newcastle. Scottish chippies.
Yes.
Are unreal. I mean, I'm saying myself, I mean, there's good chippies everywhere. There's the same way that I'm sure there's bad chippies. I mean, I've definitely been to a few bad chippies in Lancashire and Yorkshire and stuff as well. Like, but I have a lot more confidence going in. I think I can walk in a little bit more confident when I'm up north rather than thinking, having a little look from outside, like, how does it look? And, you know, and, you know, whether it's a culture thing, you know, London has its own thing. They're probably the same about pie mash shops. I mean, you don't really get a lot of those. It's a very different type of pie mash when you get up to Lancashire and Yorkshire. You know, there's no liquor or anything like that. But I mean, I guess it's what you're used to. They probably do the same. You know, people who live on the coast down in Brighton are probably like, you're not going to get better fish than straight off the coast sort of thing. And, you know, who am I to argue? But from my experience, I'm the same as you, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's not be egalitarian about it, though. They are inferior, okay? No, I'm joking. I remember I had one when I went down to uni in Canterbury, in Kent in 2014. I got some fish and chips one night for dinner, and I bit into that fish, and it was like a true My Dying Bride, like the clouds come in, my vision darkens, like this is the end of everything moment. I was like, this sucks. This fucking sucks. This is like the best rated fish and chip shop in this town, and it sucks ass. What's wrong with this place? I'm closer to the fucking ocean here than I was back home. What the fuck's going on? I was like, this sucks. So getting back to the point, I should get gravy, and I have been known to deeply enjoy chips and gravy. I'm sure I would very deeply enjoy poutine as well.
Mm-hmm.
But down here, curry sauce if I feel like it. Drench the whole fucking thing. No dipping, just drench the whole motherfucker.
And in terms of your curry sauce, is there, because obviously, again, I guess this might be a local thing. Some chippies obviously offer a few different curry sauces. So some of them might offer like a Chinese curry sauce, then some might offer a more fruity curry sauce, or is it just like a standard? There is a standard across the board chip shop curry sauce for sure. I mean, does it offer any other options, or is it just you get what you ask for?
It's just the one, and I feel like part of that is because the place used to be a kebab joint, so it's like one of these places that I think they used to do both, but then, you know, they specialized a little bit more. I don't know, for whatever reason. I'm not going to look too deeply at that fryer or whatever. But yeah, just the regular chip shop curry sauce. I should mention the specialty item.
Okay.
So recently, or at least as far as I'm aware, they weren't doing it before, and then all of a sudden they started doing it. They do this thing called a spicy potato. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a fucking whole potato, which has been fucking breaded in this slightly spicy batter, and they deep fry it.
That sounds fucking incredible.
It sounds kind of like, but isn't that not going to be nice? Like, isn't it going to be just like crispy on the outside and hard in the middle? No. It is soft, pillowy, with this nice external crispy, slightly spicy crunch. And I have to restrain myself every time I go in there because they have this like mountain of them. This makes it sound like the place doesn't exist. I've just made it up in my head. But they have this like mountain of them behind the counter. And I look at them and I'm like, holy fuck. And the best part is they're 50 pence each. They're 50 pence each, dog. I could walk away with 4 whole fucking potatoes for £2. And I have to restrain myself because if I go in there and I want chips and I get more than 2 potatoes, I'm not going to finish the fucking thing. And that's a tragedy because cold chips are no winner.
So what size are we talking? Are we talking like good size, roasty size, or genuine full potato, like fist size, full potato?
Like half of a fist or 3/4 of a fist? Like, we're serious. We're not talking baby potatoes. These are like you know, there you can hold one in your hand, you can hold maybe two in your hand, but like open, outstretched, probably not though. They're the real deal. They're dead serious. They're not messing around.
Yeah, I mean, colour me intrigued because that sounds like something I'd be. I love a potato in any form that it comes in, really.
Absolutely.
But that sounds
Amen.
that sounds great to me. That's yeah. I mean, that's given me a reason to go to Bromley. I think I've only ever been there once in the past for the football.
Ah,
I can't remember getting chippy while I was there. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll be going to this gaff just to try one of those. I think next time
there's
I'm in.
well, good news is it's opposite the train station, so when you pull in, you can hop out, get the potato, get back on. Because there ain't no reason to stay here. There used to be a venue here, but it's gone now. So now all there is spicy potato, and that all the goodness that that shit brings. Oh, heavenly! I'm thinking about it, and I'm fucking salivating, dude.
Yeah, that sounds good. I've not long had some tea, but yeah, that that sounds great to me. So this last question, I mean, I always say it kind of sorts out the real chippiers from the amateur chippiers, but I'm guessing if you're just getting chips and you're not going in and asking for a fish that you've got to wait maybe 5-10 minutes for it to be cooked fresh, you probably wouldn't need to do this. Where do you sit on ordering things to eat while you wait for your main food?
I can empathize with it. You know, I can understand people who do it, but obviously, as you've said for said reasons, it's not something that would apply to me. And I am, as cult leader said, a patient man.
Mhm.
I am willing to just wait and wait for boss man, and he'll just sort me out, and off I go, and into the merry night, and then back home, and I devour the thing like an animal, uh, which is good. You know, getting back to my primal form, eating hot potato.
Eating your big hot spicy potato.
Amen.
And so you get home, you get a choice. Do you, while you're at the chippy, do you get yourself a nice cold can of pop to go with it? And if so, what are you getting?
So I can't get it from this place, but I'm just gonna talk about my preferred beverage
Hmm.
because I've had this in my childhood and I loved it because I was like, why would a chip shop have this? But it's just really good. Lilt,
Yeah.
I really enjoy a
No,
good
no, yeah,
lilt.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
hell yeah, let's fucking go.
I'm a big fan of a lilt.
It's the best. I mean, my god, the tang. I mean, I think of the tang and it goes all the way back to yeah, just being like a kid and I can just taste that flavor and I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
that's incredible. That's consistency. That's good shit.
Yeah, I
That's
still
good
love a cold
stuff.
can of lilt. I know they've rebadged it to tropical Fanta now or whatever it is, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the
whatever.
taste's kind of still the same. And I do quite like the one. I think is it Aldi do their own version called like
Yeah.
tropical burst or something. I'm a fan of that. I think that's great. As a in lieu of being able to get hold of because if they just changed the name of Lilt to Fanta Tropical or whatever, like I'd be down with it if it was just a brand name. But it seems like since they've done it, you don't see it in as many places either. So it seems
Yeah,
like harder to get as well.
for sure. I mean, imitation is the, you know, highest form of flattery as far as like other brands trying to ape this flavor because it's just so iconic. You
Yeah.
know, there's just so much to it. It's just you can't beat it. You really can't.
No, no, big fan of a cold can of Lilt.
Amen.
Perfect. So, I mean, that all sounds great to me. I still keep thinking about those spicy potatoes, to be honest. I'm going to be thinking about those for a while. I mean, that's kind of the chippy chat part of it concluded, unless there's anything else you want. Have you got any chippy based anecdotes from kind of tour stories or?
Trying to think, but all of the interesting stories happen at kebab shops because there's just so much. They're just it's just an environment that's just you know built around chaos.
Mm,
You know, fights, immigration raids, you know, racist outbursts. It all
mm.
happens in kebab shops.
Yeah, it's
All
true.
right.
The chippies normally close at a much more social hour, don't they? They're not normally around.
They
They're not normally around for the late night carnage.
yeah, that's the thing. That place to be is slightly different because it is this place that opens slightly later.
Hmm.
But you know, again, I try not to spend too much time in there. It's the kind of joint where I just get in for the chips and I get out and I hustle. A man just needs chips and spicy potato in this world, and he will do fine. I think that's a passage from the Bible or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is Gideon's or something.
True.
Now, we always like to give guests the opportunity to push anything exciting that's coming up in regards to their own bands. Don't worry, this section also does have a silly jingle. So, Harry, it's time to. That's right, it's time to plug it. So, what's coming up on the horizon in the world of Burner? Like you mentioned before, that you've got a big year coming up. Tell us about it.
Basically, the cool thing is we've had festival season coming up. For us, as I say, what I said right at the start, it's this amazing time where we've suddenly got a load of new opportunities to kind of reach a ton of people all of a sudden converging on us at once. We've going from playing to a few hundred people to maybe a few thousand, which is kind of scary. Very exciting. Pretty scary though. So we've got a load of different bits coming up. Basically, we've got Noise Fest in Cardiff. We've got we're playing Incineration Fest at the Black Heart in May. Noise Fest is in April, by the way. We've got 2000 Trees, which is our first like big tent festival that's going to be happening. We're going to be playing on the Friday there. And then immediately after, we're going to be in Nottingham at Manjata Fest. And then, crazily enough, we're going to be at Bloodstock playing on the Sophie stage, opening up one of those early slots Friday, August 9th. So that's everything we've got right now. We're also playing with Wallowing end of April, April 26th. And so we are going to be on tour with Silosis April 3rd through to April 14th, which is coming up very, very soon. And most of the shows are sold out or very, very low tickets, which is very, very exciting. Super, super, super grateful to be jumping on an opportunity like this. And that's kind of the biggest, most craziest thing that's happened to us this year right now. So yeah, hoping somehow this will be topped. I would doubt it, but you never know. Who knows? It's been a crazy year so far, and it's only March when I'm talking right now. So who knows? We'll see about that. Very exciting news.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That'd be awesome. Perfect fit for you guys. Again, you're not exactly the same, but I've always said like you don't want to see the same band 4 times on a bill. Like it's nice to have a bit of varied. It's all within the same metal sphere, but having a slightly varied bill, not having 4 kind of thrash bands or whatever on a bill is always makes it interesting. I think you guys will be a perfect opener for that. I was going to be heading down to the Silosis show in Bristol anyway. Now I know that you guys are going to be there. It's going to make it even more fun. So
I just wanted to say, actually, kind of in that vein, someone just going back to this thing we talked about earlier, where it's about bands bigging up other bands or people chatting to artists and individuals about bands that they like. The reason we were even discovered, or I mean, tangentially discovered by Josh Middleton of Silosis, is because somebody tweeted at him when he asked on Twitter back in June of last year, what heavy releases are people listening to right now? And somebody tweeted at him, Burner. And then he obviously listened to it because then he followed us on other platforms. And then fast forward to this year, we're being asked to support him on tour. It's people sharing music, person to person interactions. It's genuine. It's real. It makes the difference. It matters. So we should do more of that. Not just people to people who are in big bands, bands to other bands, bands to fans, fan to fan. Chat about bands that you like. That's the point.
yeah, 100%. And again, you've seen it more recently with the Trivium and Bullet for My Valentine tour announcement. You had Matt Mills wearing a Burner t-shirt at the announcement. All of a sudden, he's chatting to Matt Heafy. Next thing you know, last week, he's got you on his Sirius XM show. He's pushing you out on socials, saying how much he likes you. I mean, he has a lot of ears, so who knows where that could take you.
Like, what can you say when something like that happens? Except, just like thank you. That's the thing. We're talking about, as I say, it's very cynical to kind of say, oh, it's networking, but relationships that bands have with other people, make them real. Chat to people who listen to your music. Never forget to be grateful for the fact that loads of people come and listen to your music. And they could be listening to anything, but they're listening to you. That's crazy, man. Be grateful for that. Don't lose sight of that. That's real. And then Jesus Christ, who knows, on the basis of, you chatting to somebody and they like your music, who else might listen to your music? That's what it's all about, man. That's the message. I think I've learned something today, and it's that. It's that, okay?
Talk about bands, eat massive spicy potatoes.
Yeah, let's go.
They're the 2 takeaways. Harry, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'll probably see you next month when you pass through Bristol with Silosis and with Wallowing. I look forward to seeing you face to face, as always. And thanks again. Thanks so much for coming onto the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Can I do a quick plug?
Yes, you can. Go for it.
Okay, cool. I'm in a band called Burner. We play death metal and hardcore fused together along with a bunch of other genres. You probably already know that if you listen to me. Yeah, I appreciate you very much for listening. Check us out. We put out an album called It All Returns to Nothing on Church Road Records. Last year, Church Road Records are an amazing label. They have loads of bands on there who are all crazy, stupid good, including Cops, Hidden Mothers, Wallowing, Underdark, Candescent AD, and Tuskar, among many more, of varying degrees of heaviness and or technicality and or amazingness. Also, just want to quickly big up bands you've toured / played with. So Grief Ritual, Mastiff, both have new stuff coming out, and it's stupidly heavy. And also Overpower. Really lovely dudes who met at Southwest Heavy Fest, and they're unbelievably tight. It's stupid how good that band are. Big up Caligram. Big up Death Collector. We'll be playing with them at Bloodstock. So thank you all very much. And thank you, Phil, for allowing me to vent.
Cheers again, Harry. Take care, mate. All the best. See you soon.
Thanks, dude. Take care, guys. See you later. Talk to people about bands. Bye.
That was the awesome Harry from Burner. He took me to Place to Be in Bromley and ordered a large box of chips with extra box, salt and vinegar, as he's not a coward, a massive spicy potato on the side, and some mushy peas that he'll save for the end as a palate cleanser. He'll swill all that down with an ice cold tin of Lil. Lovely stuff. As always, I want to see your chippy teas too, so don't forget to tag us in any pics or let us know your favourite local chippy on socials using @RiffnChips. Thanks to Rob Collier for providing the dive bomb, Edgar Gibbs for the screams, and Ryan Westwood for the artwork. See you in a week's time for our next episode.